Welcome back to a new episode of Talk Royale. I'm Gavin Schuetz.
And I'm James Hamilton. Last week we went over the new champion, which was Little Prince. We also went over beginner tips.
This week we're going to be talking about positive elixir trades and elixir count. Later after that we'll talk about our new card of the week, and after that we'll have a guest star. Alright, so a lot of people, when you hear positive elixir trades or counting elixir, most people don't know what that means. And to put it simply, it's just counting the amount of elixir that you have and that you've spent versus what they have and what they've spent. So say you put down a prince that's worth 5 and they counter it with a goblin gang that's worth 3. They would have the advantage because they spent less elixir and countered your card that was worth more.
Yeah, having a little step back to last week, we went over what elixir was. It was money in the game, correct?
Basically, yeah. And this is also useful to keep in mind when you're wanting to rotate cards, which, like I was saying last week, you want to have some cards that are worth less. So say any of the spirits like Heal Spirit, Electro Spirit, Fire Spirit, those are good to have to basically just rotate. The same with skeletons, because they're just 1 elixir cards and they basically keep the rotation up. So that's good for a deck that you might have Mega Knight. You might want to have, since it costs 7, you might want to have a few cards that are like 1 or 2 elixir.
And what benefits do all of those play to rotating the deck?
Basically, the more you rotate the deck, the more you'll bring your cards that have higher elixir back into cycle, and the more often you'll be able to use those. So it brings your game to a new level.
For this week, our card of the week is Little Prince.
We decided to pick Little Prince because it's a newer card and it's brought a new dynamic to the game with its Guardian ability and its kind of Expo mixed with Dark Goblin initial mechanic. It's a lot of fun to use, and it's just changed the game and how a lot of people play it.
We're here with Raleigh Queen today.
Hey, I'm Riley Queen.
He is currently number 2 in the clan, Mostly for Fun, which he is a co-creator of. And can you tell us how many trophies you have?
7,100.
That's a pretty impressive number. Not a lot of people can say that they have that many trophies. Can you tell us what deck that you've been mostly using?
Right now, I'm using a Mega Knight Hog Rider deck that has Firecracker, Arrows, Rage, Log, and more.
Now, could you tell us why that deck works so well?
It's got a bunch of cards that are just hard for most people to deal with. Mega Knight counters a lot. Hog Rider is so quick that it's hard to respond to him.
Now, how long would you say it's taken you to get to the stage where you're at in the game?
A couple years for sure.
And has that been just progressing constantly, or have there been any falls in that?
It's a pretty good, just up and up and up and up.
All right. And actually, something I wanted to ask you is the new challenge mode that's been added, the Barrels of Fun. What are your opinions on that?
I like it quite a bit. I get to use a lot of cards I wouldn't normally use, like Magic Archer and Flying Machine, that are good for destroying the barrels and getting you extra elixir.
For those of you who don't know what the Barrels of Fun event is, it's basically they've added a barrel, and that's the only way that you get any elixir. And if you destroy your opponent's barrel, then you get 4 elixir, and they aren't producing any, which is a pretty interesting concept, but most people don't know how to play it, which is why Riley decided to add in Flying Machine and Magic Archer. And Riley, are there any more tips that you'd give anyone joining the game?
What I do is I watch videos that people make that help me learn, like OJ or Orange Juice Gaming makes really informational videos that help you get better at the game with micro placements and stuff like that.
All right. Thank you for your time.
All right, and that's all for this week's Talk Royale. We hope to see you back next week.
Next week, we'll be talking about cards that are actively in use and some cards that don't see as much use as they used to, and we'll talk about why.